Afternoon, everybody. How are we all doing? All good? Got some decent movement this morning at last. Well, not too bad on quite a few pairs. So, some fairly decent action. I've just closed out Euro Swiss. I haven't really banked anything this morning. Taken a couple of small losses trying to get some positions on NAS. But just banked this Euro Swissy from last Thursday. It's just such a slow mover. Obviously, you can see it's just been grinding down. But I've just taken that one off there. Well, rather the EA's just taken that one off there. I think that was TP basically. So yeah, just banked a little bit on Euro Swiss. But apart from that, there's not a massive amount bankable so far today. S&P and NAS, I've taken an extra position on that down the bottom as we've taken out these lows, but again, just got the reversal alert and a retest just about. But I've got small TPs on these. I've got one here. Basically, we've got this gap where we pushed down this morning. So I'm just going to take some profit there in case we do get a rejection out of that area. Same on the S&P. I've got the TP there, so if we do get up to there and get rejected, obviously I'll be able to just bank something. So, but yeah, not a lot else of movement-wise on S&P and stuff. How's everybody's morning been? Everybody banked? Or anybody banked anything this morning? Obviously, all I've got on at the moment is Euro Swiss. Short. Still got 3 positions on that one. Still expecting that one to come down. We are getting into a potential support here. Right where we are at the moment. So we'll see what the reaction is here. So this could be a reaction point for the Euro Swiss, but I doubt it because it's the Euro. As you see, I've been selling into it. But yeah, I think we're coming down lower on that one. And the Aussie CAD is the other thing I've got on at the moment, FX-wise. We pushed down again today, but not really gone very far, as you can see in London. Had a little bit of a push below the Asian low, just given a reverse alert, which we're retesting at the moment. So nothing particularly dramatic on that one either. Gold has been crazy, has it? I haven't looked at gold today. Don't trade gold. Blimey, yeah. That's why I don't trade gold. Because it's a bit nutty. Yeah, big moves on gold. I'm not quite sure what's caused that. Let's have a look at the news. See if there's anything newsworthy that might have caused it. Empire State Manufacturing Survey, probably. Yeah. Does that come out? Yeah, it's the manufacturing survey caused that. But it's only volatility. Say it's whipsaw. This is what they do in news. They use the news to basically come down and take out your stops and liquidity, push back up, and then they'll do what they want from there. But yeah, so that's all that is. 40 to 50 pips. All good. Right, so let's have a look at where we are today. So far, so we've got some ADRs hit. Starting off with the Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar. There's no more news today, by the way. That's it for news for today. 7 o'clock tomorrow is GDP for the pound. CPI for the pound. So that's the next news that we've got. That's probably going to be a fairly decent mover. Apart from that, news-wise, we're out today. So that's it. Just normal price action this afternoon. So Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar. We had the ADR hit on that. Darmond, are you in here? Did you get on it? Hopefully you're on that. Decent move down on that one today. We got the reversal alert on it as we took out the highs of Asia. Beautiful bearish engulfing and basically hasn't stopped. I put my forecast in Telegram on that one this morning. Well, not this morning, this afternoon. That's what I said. That's what we got. Couldn't make it up, could you? Oh, sorry, that's Aussie New Zealand. Euro New Zealand was the other one. Sorry. Euro New Zealand. Yeah, it's the same thing, basically. Same price action because it's New Zealand dollar. So, yeah, all worked well. Nice moves down on that one today. This is the area that we needed to break on that Euro New Zealand, this high here, which we broke and then rejected through. We now need to crack these lows here. If we can crack those lows, we'll be good for the drop. This is basically that daily range high. So remember, we spoke about this one this morning. I said this control candle we've got here where we've been stuck in the range. We popped our head out of it. We've been rejecting at the highs. We broke it yesterday. And I said today, if we can break above there and then close below that today, that should be the catalyst to drop us. And we've just basically gone up and liquidity grabbed, and then we are closing low. But we need to get below that line. So today, if we can get a close below this area here, I think we'll be good for a nice little drop on that one. He's in. Yes, demand is in. Good. When gold dropped, I took a nice trade and closed my trade in profit just before it went up. Cool. Right, so so looking at ADRs, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar. Went off on a bit of a tangent there. So Aussie, New Zealand, this was the one that was not an ADR hit, really. This was this crazy broker candle. Yeah, brokers playing silly what's-its, 30-odd pip spread. Not interested. Euro yen. Euro yen did pop up straight into ADR, stuck in a hammer and dropped. M15, obviously you can see it clearer, straight up, hammer, drop. Reversal alert was a bit too far away on M15. You probably wouldn't have gotten it on M5. Oh yeah, no you would. M5 was the entry on that. That's lovely, look. Reversal alert and retest. Back down to the ADR on the opposite side. So yeah, it looks, that was a really nice one. Euro, yen, if you got on that one today. Pound CAD. Pound CAD's just given us a reverse alert on M5 off of ADR low. Really nicely extended on the 4 hourly. Pound's been really hammered today. We've not had a good day for the pound, but it is coming down into supportive areas in quite a few places as well. It's getting nicely extended on the 4 hourly. There's a few of them hitting it, isn't there? Pound CAD. What do I want to take you, Pound CAD? What have I got on? I've got Aussie CAD on long. So if I take Pound CAD on long, I'm doubling up on my CAD exposure. So I took this long this morning and got stopped out on it, basically. Here. I wasn't sure about it this morning, where we were, which I said in the live room, didn't I? I said, I'm going to put this on because we've pulled into this area, this gap, and I'm going to put a little stop on it. So it's either going to go or it's not, and I'm just going to get stopped out, and I don't really care. And that's basically what happened. But we've just pulled down, and we've put some lovely price action in on the hourly down here. But we are pulling back at the moment. So this is either going to be the retest and pop or not. We're very, very nicely extended on the hourly below 25 and the 4 hourly almost down to 20. So this is a very, very good strong move we've had from this high there all the way down to there. So I think we're definitely due a pullback, obviously, on a move of that extent. How deep the pullback will be, difficult to tell. So looking at 38 to 50 retracement on it. So if we look at M5, which we've just had the reversal alert on, we've got a good 60 odd pips to the upside on that. So quite like the look of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a pending there. And just go for the 38 level with it. We'll see if we can get a 38 retracement on that one, which is going to be about 48 pips. So it's only a little trade. But that looks pretty good, that pound CAD. It's nicely extended across multiple time frames, and we've got the ADR hit. This beautiful ADR look. Nice tweezer bottoms. Taking out these bottoms here. New break of market structure. We're retesting at the moment. We're sitting in an area of buying pressure, which we seem to be starting to reject. So it's looking good. But I'll put a pending on it. If I get triggered, brilliant. If I don't get triggered, don't bother me. Pound US dollar. Again, same thing, hit to the downside. I'm long US dollar, so I don't really want to take this one. But the CAD, I think pound can beat the CAD down a little bit. So we'll see what happens on that one. Right, so that's ADRs today. Nothing else has hit so far. So there's a few opportunities there. Euro yen, if you got on that one, that was a beauty. It's obviously already played out though. So looking at the 4 hours, again, Aussie dollar CAD. I'm in already. 4 hour extension. So we had some nice bullish price action coming in. So we got nice wicks to the downside for the last 3 4 hour candles. We're starting bullish on this one, which is just opened. So it's looking like it's getting tired. Obviously, we are massively extended now down to the 80s. 80s is my favorite place to be on the 4 hour chart because it means we're going to get a nice big profit take at some point soon. So levels to be aware of are here, this low there. So we pushed back through that, rejected, and went. So this is a strong support resistance area. So when we push back up to there, that's where you want to be a little bit careful. But I'm already in this, obviously, with 2 positions. So yeah, looking really nice for long opportunities if you're not already in that one. We've had a reversal alert on M15, which is just retesting at the moment, just about to get a retest alert on that one. So that's looking good for long opportunities. Aussie dollar Swiss, same thing, really nicely extended. We've gone into a horrible consolidation during London on this one. But we're getting down to this low here. So somewhere around there we could potentially get a bounce, but we're kind of hovering in no man's land at the moment. The same as what happened here. That we had this big strong push down, and we hovered around for a bit and popped up. Big strong push down, hovering around for a bit. If we're going to stay range bound, that's what we're probably going to do. If not, we may well break down and come and test this area here. If we test that area and that holds, we'll be looking to come down here and get some kind of pullback from that. But we're extended at the moment, so we're due a profit take move, but it's hovering. The Swiss franc obviously could power up at any moment and push this one back down. So a bit of a riskier trade to take. Always a bit wary about the Swiss franc, which is why I like shorting the Euro Swissy, because as soon as the Swiss franc does power up, the Euro gets pummeled. But technically, it's in a pretty good area at the moment. So obviously, reversal alerts have just gone in on the lower time frames. There's lots of lovely targets above to aim for. That one's kind of been used, but there's all these other ones above. So I like it, but I just don't like this price action. There's no indication of direction here. This is a consolidation and accumulation, so they could be accumulating for a drop. Don't know. But it is extended on the 4 hour. So if it does push down further, we're just going to get more exhausted and more likely to put a profit take move in. So Aussie Swiss looks good for longs. Obviously, I've already got an Aussie CAD on at the minute anyway. Euro Swiss, Euro CAD rather. Exhausted down here again. I don't like long in the euro. I've taken the pound CAD, or I'm potentially taking the pound CAD. I much prefer the pound CAD as opposed to the euro CAD, just because the euro I'm short on. I'm always short on the euro, and this one's way more extended on pound CAD, so much better opportunity. So that one would be my preferred. But the euro CAD is at a really, really nice level. So if you're not like me and can't bring yourself to long the euro because it's just being destroyed across the board, and it has been for the last year, this is a perfect technical support level. But if it breaks, obviously you need to look at where we're going next, which is going to be down to these levels down here. So if we do break here and we don't hold this level, which is a lovely area, then the buyers here are going to step in and probably go into some kind of consolidation on the way back down to there for a little bounce. But the bounce could be like that. Yeah. So you need to be aware, anything that you long on the euro, not necessarily going to get a big strong move back to the upside. Quite often we're just getting these little profit take moves, which is why I'm much more inclined to short it, because it comes down a lot harder than it goes up. So yeah, Euro CAD, Pound CAD is obviously the one that I much prefer. Not sure I've got the right lot size on that. I'm just sticking another 0.2 there. Stick another 0.2 above it. New Zealand dollar CAD, 4 hour extended. We looked at this one again this morning, didn't we? Beautiful tweezer bottoms gone in here. So yeah, obvious. This is where we are not interested in going lower. So for the last 8 hours, we've been trying to get through that. We're not interested. We are still pushing down at the moment, but potentially this is double bottom tweezers are a very, very strong reversal pattern. They don't always hold, but when they do hold, they tend to be the end of the move, and we get a decent pullback. So that looks really nice. Very extended on the 4 hour. Obviously down here, stick a fib on it. Look at where we're potentially headed. So light shallow pullback 38, medium pullback 50, deep pullback 61.8, somewhere up there. If we're not going to continue and just put in a reversal here. So looks like a really good opportunity. I'm on the Aussie dollar version of this. I'm on the Aussie CAD long rather than the New Zealand, so I won't be taking this one, but set up beautifully. Looks lovely for a long. Nicely extended, 25 level rather on the RSI. So yeah, looking really good. The only downside to this one, which again we looked at this morning, yeah, you zoom out as far as you like on 4 hour, you're not going to find any support. Yeah, we are basically at the lows we've been at for a long time. So you've got to come back up to the daily charts to find support. And this is what I drew in this morning. These levels here are from daily support from way back when. So this zone is where, if this doesn't hold, we will likely be headed. But by the time we get there, if we get there, you're going to be looking at quite a substantial drop, and RSI very deeply extended on the daily chart as well. So it's all going to be ready to pounce at some point soon. So looking really good, that one as well for longs. And New Zealand dollar Swiss bounced beautifully off the support. So yeah, really nice bullish engulfing gone in there, extended on RSI. We won't be extended on RSI at the close of this candle. Lower time frame M15. We just had the reversal alert and the retest. So this was your entry this morning on that one. Be aware of this massive selling pressure we've got that's come off of the Japanese news this morning. So yeah, all good. So that one looks good for longs as well, New Zealand dollar Swiss, but it's kind of already started. But if you want to go up to higher time frames, obviously the hourly you haven't had the reversal alert on yet, and there's plenty of upside potential on this one for a profit take. There's a long old drop that this was not, when we got to this level, we didn't get the 38 pullback, so it wasn't really even a decent profit take move. So potentially a move back up into this area, or probably higher. This area here is the preferred. Yep, so when we have this big propulsion gap put in up to there. But just be aware, obviously, of where we're bouncing at the moment. Potentially we have got a little bit more downside on this one. So it could come down and put another leg in before it pops. We'll see. So a few opportunities there. If you're not in anything, Euro Swiss obviously I've got on, and I've got my Aussie CAD on, but there's lots of other opportunities there at the minute. Hourlies, we got pretty much the same sort of thing. Obviously based off the same sort of price action. Aussie CAD shot to bits, obviously on the 4 hour. Hourly, we've been embedded down here. We've been embedded down here for ages, haven't we, on the hourly? So, we've been extended for a long period of time with selling pressure in there. So this thing is well overdue a profit take, and we're going to get a decent, I reckon, 50% move back up on here. Good ADR plus move to the upside. But we're just waiting at the minute. So again, M15, we've had the reversal alert, which we're retesting at the moment. So same thing we just looked at. EuroCAD. Same thing, you can see we got EuroCAD, PoundCAD. They're all the same. They're all extended really far to the downside. Euro, obviously, I don't like longing, so this would be my least favourite. The PoundCAD, decent move due on this one. Again, I'm going to get into this one as it starts to move. I haven't put a TP on that second position. Let me just put that on. So yeah, nice looking potential reversal pattern going in at the moment on that one. We'll see if it plays out, or see if it wants to push lower. Pound pairs, we see often pound pairs hitting 150s, don't we? So not necessarily over yet. Big strong move today, and this could well just be a small pullback and continuation drop. But I'll be looking for long opportunities on that one. Pound Swiss has also extended. I'm long. I'm short on the Euro Swiss. This is being caused by the pound rather than the Swissy. If we get any Swiss franc strength coming through this afternoon, this one's going to push down further. It's got plenty of room to get down to ADR as well today. But it is just about extended. Again, I much prefer deeper extensions. So this one's just got extended. Just about. So not that interested in this one. If you look at the levels on this as well, remember I looked at this one this morning. It's the one that's kind of impossible to pick a level on. Yeah, any of these levels here could act as support and resistance. It's difficult to pick a spot, and I don't like it when you can't see a clearly defined support resistance level. There are a few in there, but again, they've just kind of been tested once. Yeah, so this level here, we pushed up into this level, and then that acted as support resistance. So this is a nice, fairly strong level. We got this level here as well, which again, we pushed up into it, rejected, slammed through it. This became support. Yeah, bang. So there's these two levels here, this area, just at 125 ADR, which if we get down to there, potentially that looks like a good bounce point. Other than that, obviously, somewhere around here. This is a very strong resistance, which turned into support before we pushed off. So those three levels going down to 200 ADR. If we do get a continuation push this afternoon on this one, anywhere down to 200 ADR, that'd be a lovely looking long. So that looks pretty good for longs if we can get down there, but not keen on it when it's not too extended. Pound US dollar. I'm looking for US dollar longs. So this is exactly the trade. The trade was here on Thursday last week. So if you took that one, you're nicely in profit or you're out. But I wouldn't want to be longing it. And New Zealand dollar CAD we've already looked at. So bounce, bounce, bounce. Ready for a pop. So yeah, pretty good opportunities for RSI extensions. There's quite a few there to choose from. A lot of them are CAD related, obviously. So many of these are coming down because the CAD is doing pretty well. But the Aussie and the New Zealand aren't doing very well at all, and neither is the pound. So it's a combination of slight strength on the Canadian dollar and the others being pretty weak, giving these a big push down. But they'll all bounce back at some point soon. From a news perspective, obviously tomorrow afternoon is the Canadian news. So all of these ones which have extended on the CAD, of which most of them are, the catalyst is tomorrow afternoon at 1:30. So this is when we would expect to start to see some Canadian dollar movement. And if we get some Canadian dollar weakness off the back of CPI, which is forecast to be weak. So if it's weaker than forecast, we'll get a weak Canadian dollar and all these will start to spring. So tomorrow afternoon, really, for movement on those. I think they're just positioning at the moment. Right, so that's it. That's all of the opportunities we've got at the moment. Anybody got anything else they want to look at? Any other pairs, currencies, anything else they want to discuss before we have a look at the indices? I will move my mouse slowly over towards the indices in anticipation of no questions. Strong US dollar. Really nice, big, strong move in the last hour. The indices coming down. Oh, yeah. A little bit of a drop, not too bad. So yeah, nice strong US dollar. As I say, been waiting for the US dollar strength to come in, and it's obviously off the back of this push we had on Friday, bank holiday, and continuation. So we're just coming up into this area of chop. So this is the accumulation before the drop. So this area here is where the sellers will step in if they're going to. Other than that, we've got all this lot up here. Let me just go back. Pound CAD hourly RSI. So pound CAD is just powered up. That's the 4 hour. Pound CAD's just powered up on the hourly as well. So US dollar index, obviously, we're coming back up into the chop now. So this area is the strong support. Obviously, seeing right now whether this is going to turn into resistance or not. If it does turn into resistance and pushes back down, we've got all these buyers here which will battle to push it back up again. So we'll see what happens when we get up here, but my thoughts are we're looking at that sort of movement. New highs being put on the US dollar at some point in the next few weeks. So we'll see here. This is going to be a critical point. It's going to tell us which direction this is going in. If we do get this continued push on the US dollar, then that's when I would expect the yen to start dragging its heels along with the US dollar, and we'll start to see some of these pairs against the yens coming down a little bit harder as well. But I've been waiting to see out of Christmas what the US dollar was up to, and it's the first sort of indication it's given us of the bounce that I looked at here is actually going to hold. So hopefully we are going to get some movement to the upside. Indices. S&P, strong down day today. We don't normally get strong movement like this in London and Asia, but we have had today. All London's done today is take it down a leg and then sit sideways, and we're just pushing down a little bit more now at the moment. And the same with the NAS. We did get the reversal out on the NAS, and there's a lot of buying pressure looking like it wants to come through on the NAS at the moment. But again, we need to see what happens at the open, whether we can smash that. If we can smash that at the open and pull back into it, we're off up to here. So we'll see. Market's just opened. So let's get these on separate charts so we can watch. Oops. Decent volume coming in at the moment. That's good. So let's see which way we're going to go. Anybody got any other questions or anything? So this 4600 level is what has been kind of holding so far on the S&P, and the 15,300 level on the NAS. So these are kind of the sort of round numbery levels, if you like, that we will need to see holding if we're going to push higher. If we breach these today, there's a possibility of another drop. But there's not. I mean, you look at the size of the candle that we've put in so far today, and look at the averages. We're down at average on the S&P already, pretty much. So I don't think we're going to get an awful lot further down today. But we have got this low. Let me just draw that low in there. There. So we have got this low here, which potentially we may push down to 125 ADR. So we'll see what happens when we get down there, if we get down there. NAS is pushing lower. So potential play, obviously, at the open is to take liquidity. So there's money sitting under these lows from everybody that's longed in London. So they may come down and take that and then scarper. So we're at ADR low on the S&P. NAS has got a bit further to go. I've just got a protective stop on this position here. It's a slightly more aggressive position because I think we've put the low in of the day already on the NAS. So I've got a stop on it. If we haven't put the low in, we are going to go low. I don't want to be getting into drawdown on that position. So I've got a protective stop on that one. And obviously then I'm getting in further down here, which is a double bottom. All right, 30 seconds left on this 5-minute candle. Looks like he wants to open short today. So see if they can continue this move. So we've got potential gap formation starting from there. US 30. I can check US 30. Yeah, it's coming down. They're all going to be doing the same thing. They're all the same thing. So whichever one you watch, they're all going to be doing the same. US 30 has got mostly NAS, S&P has got mostly NAS has got mostly US 30. So it's all interlinked, which is why I watch the NAS, because the NAS moves the fastest of the lot. So this is kind of a leading indicator. But what have we got today? What do we have pre-market open today? We had Goldman Sachs today, pre-market. That was all. Yeah, that's not done bad today. So they bought the dip on that. It's all finance and banking this week, apart from Netflix. So S&P's made new lows of the day. Nas is attacking the lows of London. Whoa. 150 on the US 30. So Nas, if you remember, I said this morning, if we do break and hold this low today, likelihood is we're coming back down here. So where we started this reversal here, this is the candle that put the reversal alert in. Put the retest in and put the propulsion move in to move higher. So potentially that area is where we'll be looking to retest, which is the 200 moving average. But we need to break and hold this as a low today. So we'll see where we get to. So 15 minute, we haven't actually managed to crack London lows yet on the NAS. S&P's trying hard to close down. Pound CAD have just got that position on. Just the one. Just popped up there. Just hovering in a minute. Just trying to find my opening range lines. There they are. Oh, didn't want to do that. So there's our 15-minute opening range so far. Afternoon, Rahat. Okay, so we've got some fairly decent buying pressure coming in down here on the NAS. Nice doji put in, didn't manage to break those highs, those lows of London. So we may well get some buying pressure coming in now, which looks like is what we're getting. Let's see if they can hold this level down here. S&P still pushing harder down. So there's a lot more, not more pressure on non-tech stocks today. You can see the getting hammered basically today, aren't we? NAS Still not quite got out of that 15-minute range yet though. 4 minutes left till the 15-minute opening range is put in. Loads of buyers coming in on the NAS now. So I haven't quite done a liquidity grab on this yet. So when we had this reversal put in here, obviously we saw some buyers come in, which took it back above these lows here. Pulled back, more buyers stepped in. So this whole area here is where the buying pressure happened. So initial buying started here. Rebuying started here, which is the retest to push up. And New York has tried to push back down. The sellers have tried to break this buying zone here where we started buying and rebuying, and buyers have stepped back in again. So if these buyers can hold this level, we can break above the highs here. Obviously, we should be looking for longs today. But we got all this selling pressure here as well, where we started all these moves. So we've got to bash through this here. We've got to bash through this here. So hard work. Same for the US dollar. It's hard work at the moment for these indices and the Dixie to push up after such a big selling rally. It takes a lot more buyers to step in. So looks like it's going well so far today though. Good movement out of this buying area as well on the NAS. Oh, sorry, on the S&P. Again, accumulation. Same thing here. You can see on the chart, which is what you're seeing. So when's this? Monday. 2 Mondays ago. Zoom in, have a look. Yeah, so buyers, big sell-off. Buyers start accumulating, start their move, pull back. Buyers defend the area, push off. And this is the area that we are retesting now, where all this buying started. So anybody that's bought here and is not out yet is going to defend this position here. And that's what we're seeing happening here. But big 15-minute range put in. So 40 seconds left. We're just putting in a big whipsaw at the minute. Divergence on the S&P 15-minute. Yep. So we've got divergence on the RSI. Put in a new low amongst a lot of buying pressure. So it's bullish divergence. Doesn't mean it's going to hold, obviously. It just is bullish divergence. So just shows you there's more bulls than bears. But obviously it's whoever's got the deepest pockets wins. Almost broke even today, but then my wins went better than my losses. So that's a nice profit. Cool. That's what we want. Profit every day. If only it worked that way. Does most of the time, but got to take losses at some point. Okay, so 15-minute range is in on both of these. Just want to change these. So we can see them better. So it's 15-minute opening range. So that's what we're looking for the market to break to give us some idea of direction today. God, I hate trend lines in MT4. Never get them straight. Dow's put in a much bigger opening range, down to 150. So NAS is holding up well. I bought at the bottom there on the NAS, made a nice profit just now when it pulled back up. Cool. Good job. Obviously, if you want to trade on the 1 minute chart, a lot of people do trade 1 minute on the indices. Obviously, you get much quicker alerts. So, got retest of the initial alert going on, this area here. So, if we get a break back above that area, that'd be a nice retest. Forex or indices stroke stocks, which one mostly should be focused to be safe, or both? Up to you, really. It's personal preference. A lot of people like indices. Stocks are a lot more complicated. So if you're going to trade stocks, you need to do stock scanning every day. So you need to look for earnings gaps. There's lots of solid plays on stocks. Like one of the biggest plays on stocks is the opening range breakout, which is that kind of move. And then you have what's called the VWAP fizzles, things like that, where price moves away dramatically on a stock and then it will fizzle back to the volume weighted average price. There's lots of really good, strong setups in stocks, but you need to find your stocks. There's a lot of them, yeah, which is why a lot of people fall into Forex, because we've got 28 major and minor Forex pairs, and they all move and are manipulated very nicely, so they're easy to trade. Indices are fairly easy to trade. You long it because they're designed and manufactured to go up with stocks. So this is the NAS. This is the top 100 tech stocks. Stocks go up. It's a growing sector. Same as the S&P. Top 500 companies in the US. Not likely to go down that often, are they? So if you look at the top 500 companies in the world, they're not manufactured, but they're engineered to please their stockholders. And if their stockholders are unhappy with performance, they sack the board and put a new board in place to make the stock go up, to make them money. So these are all manufactured and engineered to make money for the market, for the stockholders, shareholders, so they go up. So indices are fairly easy to trade. You buy pullbacks on them. But they're all driven by earnings as well. So you need to know a little bit about earnings and when they're likely to move. But you can read them fairly simply with just moving averages. Yeah, just by pullbacks to moving averages. So they're really easy to trade. But obviously, if you're going to trade indices, you've really only got the two main ones, the NAS and the NASDAQ, NQ, QQQ, whatever you want to call it, and the S&P. And obviously the US 30, but the US 30 moves a lot slower than these two. So most people tend to concentrate on the NAS, which is really quick, and the S&P, which is kind of an intermediate speed. So the S&P is the main one. Because it's got 500 stocks in it, it's less volatile because you've got more data making up the index. Therefore, a large movement in one individual stock is less impactful on the S&P than a large movement, which is a prime example today, a large movement on one stock in the US 30. Okay, so there's a 1 in 30 chance of moving that. On the S&P, there's a 1 in 500 chance of a stock moving it. Yeah, so pick whichever you prefer. There's no right or wrong. You can make money on anything. As long as the market's moving, you've got an opportunity to make money, haven't you? Okay, so looking to break the lows of the opening ranges on these at the minute. More sellers coming in. But if you want diversification and you're looking for longer term trading, sort of 4-hour time frames and above, trade everything. Yeah, as long as you've got your fingers in multiple pies, some of them are going to pay out, some of them aren't. As long as you use the profit that you make from the ones that pay out to pay off the ones that don't, that's basically it. That's position trading or portfolio trading. Trade as much as you can. Difference between individual company shares such as Apple, Google, etc. to purchase or the indices. Again, up to you. A lot of people trade and focus and concentrate on individual stocks. So there's a lot of people out there that trade just Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, AMD, Tesla. Yeah, so they pick the big players because they are volatile and have a lot of movement on an intraday basis. So there's a lot of people who do that. But I mean, personally, I used to trade stocks. I cut my teeth in stocks a long time ago, and it's harder. It's a lot harder. So, but you do what you. The thing you got to do with any trading, yeah, you got to pick the instruments that make sense to you, the instruments that you can get on with, the instruments that you understand, and then you got to find a strategy that works on those instruments. So, if you find scanning for stocks and understanding stock movement difficult, don't do stocks. That's all I can really say. You got to try everything, see what works for you. But either way, what you got to do is put chart time in. Thousands of hours in front of the charts builds muscle memory. You start to see patterns forming before they play out. And that is really what you need to do. Whatever you're going to trade, you need to spend time studying it and focusing on it, seeing what it does, planning for the worst case scenarios you can get with them, and identifying when they are likely to do things. Yeah, so S&P, for example, when we're trending, we tend to go somewhere between 1 to 2 weeks before we have a pullback. Sometimes the pullback is deeper than expected. And then we have a larger rally. And this is typical of the S&P. It has its own footprint, its own kind of life, if you like. Gold does completely random, stupid, crazy things, which is why I don't trade it. But a lot of people love that. Personally, I prefer sort of things which are a little bit more uniform. But even these, indices can fail. Obviously, forget COVID. Nothing survives COVID. But yeah, I mean, occasionally you'll have deeper pullbacks down to the 200 moving average. Where we'll go sideways for a while, but then the same patterns play out again. Yeah, so a week or two up, that was a bit of a longer rally than normal, but a couple of weeks up, drop, couple of weeks up, drop, couple of weeks up, drop, 3 or 4 weeks up, bigger drop, W pattern, symmetrical triangle, break. It's all the same stuff across everything you trade. Same patterns emerge on everything. Just pick stuff that you feel comfortable with. That's all you can do. To do that, you've got to try stuff. S&P trying really hard to make new lows on the day, but not managing to at the moment. Nasdaq still stuck within the 15-minute range. So no breaks either direction yet. Dow still stuck as well. Down at 150 ADR. It's a big drop for that. It's a big down day, look. Up day tomorrow. If this holds, obviously, as a down day. potentially. But again, market structure, low, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low. Looking for higher highs. Still holding within the range at the minute. Thanks to my wins today, I can finally withdraw from the broker and buy the indicator. Excellent. You're doing it the other way around. Most people buy the indicator and then use that to make money. But making money to buy the indicator, you don't really need to buy the indicator, do you? You're making money. I'm using Blueberry Broker. They offer 0.01 for indices. Excellent. Yeah, Blueberry. So ideally, if you're going to trade indices as CFDs, contract for differences, which these are, you want to find a broker that does 0.1s. Most brokers out there will offer one contracts, so you can trade standard lots or mini lots, which isn't ideal because it's forcing you to put more leverage on. So you ideally want to find a broker that trades micros. So I trade with Axie. But there's a number of other brokers out there like Blueberry, like Rahat's just said, and Robo Forex as well. They let you trade micros. So always try and go with brokers that will offer you the minimum contract size possible, because obviously you can get in small and scale up, but if you get in big and it drops against you, you can't scale out. John, have I ever dabbled in pivots? Yeah, I've used pivots before. I used to trade pivots, but don't trade pivots anymore. I prefer support and resistance. Pivots are price-based support and resistance. Sorry, intraday-based or intra-week-based support and resistance. And they do work, but I find, solid support and resistance is better. So, levels rather than levels that are manufactured by price movement. I haven't found have been as good as, solid support and resistance. As you see from my, FX, when I'm looking at FX pairs, I'm looking at, if we don't do this, where are we going next? We see it playing out over and over again. Pound CAD is the worst example possible because that's one that hasn't got much good support and resistance, which is why I'm not really that happy with trading it. But, things like Euro Swiss, looking at areas of previous support and resistance, they hold much better than a level generated. Like your pivots will be sitting there like that. And there's, price doesn't really have to respect these. Areas where we've had accumulation and solid strength and then rejection, i.e. sellers taking control, are more likely to hold than levels that are generated by an indicator. That's just my opinion and my experience, but a lot of people trade pivots, and there's nothing wrong with them. If they work for you, obviously. It's like with anything. If it works for you, use it. Okay, so buyers coming through on the NAS again. So we haven't broken out the 15-minute range. S&P hasn't broken out the 15-minute range. Buyers stepping in, so good buying pressure coming in here, and like somebody pointed out, got very nice divergence, bullish divergence at the moment. One big long bull candle will be enough to get the market into a bit of a buying frenzy, I think. I agree. I could never understand the logic of the math when there was narrow range day. The next day, the pivots were not large. Yeah, because it's all based on the average daily ranges. Yeah, and this is why I use the average daily range indicator. This is kind of my pivots, if you like, yeah. But my pivots are based on mathematical edge, mathematical statistics. Yeah, statistically, 58% of the time, price doesn't break out of its average daily range. So, you know, these are kind of like pivots when we get, and we've seen it today, haven't we? Look at the euro yen today, prime example. Reacts off of pivots. That was 100 ADR. So obviously this is moving down now. As you can see, it's moving down because price is moving down and the lines are measuring the average daily range from the highs and the lows. But this here was exactly 100 ADR. So the ADR on this is 85. Yeah. Oh, sorry, no. Was that ADR? Which one was it hit ADR today? Was it euro yen? I'm sure it was euro yen, wasn't it? No, Aussie New Zealand. I don't know. But anyway, that's basically what the ADR is doing. It's kind of like a pivot, if you like. But it's based on the movement of price, and as are most pivots. So, but you still need a directional bias. You know, same with pivots. If you trade pivots, I think you need to at least have a directional bias on the pair. So if you get to a pivot point and get a bearish reaction off of it, but it's been trending long for the last 3 weeks, probably not going to take that pivot, are you? Be better off waiting for it to hit a pivot low. Same with ADR, wait for it to hit an ADR low. Euro yen, I'm shorting. So I wouldn't be taking an ADR low hit, I'd be taking an ADR high hit, looking to short out of it. So, but that's just me. You stuck in the 15-minute range still on the NAS. S&P still trying to get down. Still getting battered up by the buyers. It's going to be one of those sessions. I was expecting today to have a really good move out of New York. Bit disappointing that we've literally just put a whipsaw in and gone nowhere so far. But yeah, try everything. It's the only way you'll know what works for you in trading, is trying everything. If it makes sense, use it. If it doesn't make sense, dump it. Move on. Okay, so we are still stuck. What's the Dow doing? Dow's finding buying pressure down here as well. There's a lot of buying pressure down here, but they are struggling today. Where can you purchase the daily ADR indicator? Get that on MQL5. So if you go to the website, it's there. Let's do that in chat. And obviously the dashboard as well. I mean, I pay less attention to the indicator. Obviously, I use the dash because the dash alerts me on all pairs. So, but I mean, use whatever you feel works for you. Okay, NAS, we're finding some buyers again. So just waiting for that move. I think I might. I'm toying with the idea of moving my TP on this NAS. If we do break today, bear in mind obviously the move that we've had down today has been quite big. If we break today and go bullish, red to green move, we're going to go all the way up here. So I might go for a bit of a home run on this one, up into this gap. This is what I was targeting with this position here. But looking at this price action on the NAS, it's massively bullish. And the fact that we've got divergence on the S&P as well, bullish divergence, got a feeling we're going to crack this today. So may as well go for the home run. Try and bank a decent amount of money. But monitor it. Buying pressure coming across all indices at the minute. Apart from the 30. So looking at the Dow, yeah. So the reason the Dow is weaker today is because we've just had Goldman Sachs earnings. And Goldman Sachs is number 2 on the Dow. It is not in the S&P. It is not in the NASDAQ. So obviously it's why the Dow is and the S&P are being hit harder than the NAS, because the NAS doesn't contain Goldman, and Goldman is obviously what has been driving the Dow down today. But obviously, and again, this is the other reason I love indices. You've heard the terminology overbought and oversold, which is a stock terminology. So it's used to indicate when a stock has dropped too far and it's been oversold. And as something becomes oversold, the value of that stock becomes greater because there's more upside potential. Therefore, more people want to purchase it when it's dropped. It's the old buy low, sell high analogy. Yeah. So as you see stocks dropping, yeah. So if Goldman drops, as it's dropping, people start to buy it because it's cheap, and that drives price back up, which is why you see these movements on the S&P. Yeah. Stock starts to come down. Everyone goes, that's cheap, I'm going to buy that. And then it rallies. That's cheap, I'm going to buy that. And it rallies. This is what earnings season does. It devalues. They quite often devalue. Stocks will get devalued before earnings come out. When earnings come out, they rally. Which is obviously why we see a nice dip. So you quite often see these dips before earnings releases. But again, nothing's set in stone with any of these markets. Okay, so that's where my TP was. So I would have just hit TP on that NAS trade. They say never move your stops and never move your take profits, don't they? So ignore what we just saw there. Lovely bullish engulfing going in. Lots of rejection wicks on the S&P. 5 minutes about to get a reversal alert. Obviously, we've had the reverse alert on the NAS already. Slamming through this selling pressure. So entering area congestion here. So got to crack that. Lot of sells in there. See how we get on here. Stalling out. Darmon, that is a problem I still have. Tinkering with stop loss and take profit. Yeah, that was a that TP. To be fair, that I took on this position, I took that TP there, expecting to hit it in London, because what I was expecting in London was for them to tap up into this area and get pushed back out. So really, this was an intercession trade, which is why I've had it there. But you know, this is the thing that people don't understand. Well, not don't understand. This is the thing that is hard to drill into people that haven't been trading long. Is you've got to be dynamic. You've got to adjust. And this is why I am not an advocate of EAs. that you stick on a chart and go and sit on a beach and drink Mai Tais and expect to become a millionaire out of, because the EAs cannot do things like this. The EAs cannot see, hang on a minute, there's a hell of a lot of buying pressure coming in on the NAS at the moment. We've got divergence on the S&P, so this is a massive bullish market today. The EAs can't see this. They can't adapt to it. So the EA would have taken a profit there at, £40, £45, whereas I potentially, because I've seen that happening and unfolding in the market, I can make double the profit out of it. And equally, if we get a massive push back out of here, I might well close that or cover it. But this is all dynamic. This is stuff which is discretionary trading. You hear this terminology, discretionary trading. This is what discretionary trading is. I'm moving this at my discretion because this is what I feel the market is going to do today. This is what everybody's hunting for, the holy grail EA that can act like a trader. You can't replace what's in the middle of your ears. You have to watch the market. Okay, so Dow, some buying pressure coming in, nowhere near as strong as the others. Again, this is the reason I don't like trading the Dow, because it's so slow compared to the others, the NAS and the S&P. So you just, but again, there's nothing wrong with slow. Slow is good. If you don't like fast whipsaw markets. 2 minutes to candle close. We're just trying to crack through this area and getting stuck. I've got just over 1% on this position. And 0.5% on this position, so I might take this one off, seeing if we get stuck here. Only time I move my stop loss is to move to break even. Yeah, I totally agree. With stop losses, you shouldn't move your stop losses. Apart from break evens, you should never move your stop losses down if you're going to use stop losses. TPs though. Yeah, I'm going to take that off. And I'm going to take that off. TPs, though, are a different matter. If you think that the market is going to go further than you were initially anticipating, there's nothing wrong with moving a TP, if you cover the position, obviously. I still think this is going up today, but if it doesn't and we go into rotation in New York, what I don't want to be doing is sitting here not having banked 1.5% today. I'd much rather have 1.5% in the bank, because what I can do now is, if we pull back down into here, I'll add that position on again. So I have the opportunity to trade it twice, make twice as much money. But I've just banked 1.2% there, and if it continues up, I've lost that movement, but my other positions are going to come into profit, so it doesn't really matter, does it? But yeah, I'm not a fan of moving to stops to break even either, because 9 times out of 10, when you move a stop to break even, you get stopped out, because the way the market moves, when the market moves up, and you had a stop here and you got in here, so you got in on a break of market structure. When the market moves up to there, if you move that stop up to here, where do you think the market's going to go? It's going to pull back to support, resistance, and bounce. So what does it do? Take out your break-even stop and then go off without you. So I'm not a fan of break-even stops. The EA's got break-even stops built into it because everybody wanted them, but I really don't like them. I like moving stops to break even if I lose confidence in a trade, but I don't use them to lock profit in. Personally, but I mean, Again, do what you like, but you will find, obviously from experience, I'm sure you know already, if you move to break even, typically that's exactly what happens. You get break even. We're struggling in this sell zone here at the moment, so be looking for pullback. So where we're pushing up here, this 15-minute candle, if this 15-minute candle hovers around here somewhere, we're going to put a gap in, which is where the buyers have stepped in. So we'll be looking for pullbacks into there for a push higher. And obviously that is also coinciding nicely with the 15-minute opening range breakout. S&P just still stuck in its 15-minute range, unfortunately. Dow didn't manage to finish bullish. CAD's pulled back a little bit, that pound CAD. So I see, got me into both those positions. Thank you very much. Now it's pulling back. So we'll see if we get back down below these lows, or if this is going to retest as a W. Might well come down, take the liquidity, and then run with the liquidity from there. Is this pound? This is Canadian dollar strength coming through by the looks of things. Yeah, it's a strong CAD. The reason this one's coming down is it's a strong Canadian dollar. It's not the pound weakness, it's Canadian dollar strength. So see how long they hold this CAD up for, but another little bit of a pullback. Really struggling at this accumulation area here. Again, support and resistance. So this is a previous support resistance. Or that, don't know, but basically it's just area of accumulation before sells. So we're just looking for more buyers to step in than sellers initially stepped in there to push price back up to the next area to fight over. More movement to the south on the Dow as well. Wow, there's a lot of chat going on in the Telegram group. I'll catch up with that in a bit. If you're in here and you're asking questions in the Telegram group, just ask them in the chat here. We can cover them in the live room rather than in the group in Telegram. Aussie dollar CAD reversals held at the moment. So the reversal that we got at the end of London, New York is just basically sitting sideways. No real directional bias on this one at the minute. Decent wicks to the upside and also to the downside as well. So just struggling consolidation at the minute. Again, for those of you that like divergence, nice strong bullish divergence. Lag is much worse here. Where's here? In your house? Your country? I don't know what the lag is. Do you mean you lag on the charts or do you mean lag on the stream? Stream's delayed by about 30 seconds, I think, roughly. Something like that. Euro Swiss is still coming down very nicely. So I'm back above break even on that one. Haven't got any targets on that. Yes, I have. So this is the area of support we were looking at, which happens to coincide with my break-even line, which is where, again, we got into an accumulation phase here. So it's a nice strong support level. We know there's a lot of buying action and selling action going on in there. We're crashing through it quite substantially at the moment. So next stop is going to be down here. Round about ADR, where we started this move to the upside. So we'll expect some kind of reaction here. But it's coming down quite nicely. Not particularly strong, but not doing too bad. Lag in the chat. Yeah, I was talking about lag about 2 minutes ago. You'll hear this in 2 minutes and laugh. So getting good rejection out of there. Out of this sell area at the moment. But buyers are still battling back at the moment. So just not a very strong day today. But all going in the right direction. So from a market structure perspective, obviously this is the new low that we put in. We broke out of these highs with a reverse head and shoulders pattern up into this sell area, push back down. So we are still potentially looking at putting in positive market structure. But just struggling at this area. This is a really key area here today. As long as we break back above, as long as we hold above this level today, and we don't break down here, we should be able to get a rally. Buyers should be able to step in and get a rally on the NAS ahead of next week, where we've got a lot of earnings coming out. But what's today? Tuesday, isn't it? So Thursday is Netflix. So Thursday will be a volatile day for the NAS. Netflix has had a really bad run of late as well. So since where are we, mid-November, we put in double top up here, an M pattern. And since mid-November, we've been on the tumble, but we're back down again at support resistance. Good buying pressure came in yesterday. Lots of people buying at this level. This is a strong accumulation area for Netflix. So this is what I class as oversold, ready for people to buy. So good earnings, or even mediocre earnings, to be honest. Doesn't have to be good earnings. Anything but negative earnings, I think, will probably boost Netflix. But yeah, it's taken a strong tumble over the last fortnight. Dull day today, isn't it? Another one of those sitting sideways opening sessions. So on the NAS, highs here, and obviously the lows here is where we are struggling. So we've got the buyers sitting here, and obviously we know the sellers are sitting in here. So next break basically will probably determine where we're going to go, I think, today. As soon as we can crack that level, obviously we'll be looking to come up to those highs, but sideways for the last 20 minutes. A few buyers stepping in now as well. And on the Dow. Decent buying pressure coming in. Might get a bullish engulfing here. Got a minute left on that candle. Then 150 ADR, big level. Nicely extended on the RSI, on the hourly as well. Due at least a pullback, profit take. Back up into this area here. Okay, so it looks like we're holding the highs at the moment on NAS. Another bullish candle. We're in an inside bar, obviously, on this 15-minute, though, so we haven't made new highs. So still undecided on direction, but looking bullish. Just coming back down to retest the 15-minute opening range on NAS. Good area to add. Let's have a quick whiz through the other markets to see what's going on. So Aussie dollar having a good start in New York across the board. All the Aussies having a nice push. Aussie dollar CAD, obviously I'm on at the moment. So we just got the reversal alert on M15 on that one. Hourly pushing up back into this sell area, looking for new reversal alert there. CAD, strong open as well, not particularly great, but what's the yen's doing? Nothing on that one. Everything pushing up against the yen, so the yen's weakened in New York. Yeah, all the yen's weakened. Dixie's struggling up at ADR. Cool. Euro's obviously coming down because the Australian dollar's going up. Looks like the euro's coming down across the board as well. Apart from the euro Swiss. And pound, more weakness coming through on the pound. Not particularly bad though. And New Zealand dollar recovering as well. So Aussie and New Zealand recovering nicely from those drops that we had in the Asian session. US dollar not really going anywhere. Okay, so NAS is sitting down in this buy zone at the moment at the 15-minute opening range highs. Good rejection off of that wick. So this wick is the low of that gap. So buyers stepping in, holding nicely in that area at the minute. If we get a good push out of there, I should look for a move up. 10 minutes left on this candle. I'm going to stay on until about 3:45. Give it another 10 minutes or so. See if we can get some more bullish price action on these. And then hopefully let them run for the afternoon. Still not looking great, is it? No real strength at the moment on any of these indices. Well, nice rejection still going on, but very quiet. No. So for those of you as well, obviously that are not in the UK, just be aware tomorrow morning we have CPI for the UK at 7 a.m. That tends to be a market mover, and then obviously Canadian dollar in the afternoon. So you should get some movement on the pound in the morning. That's pre-market open in the UK as well. So should get some decent volatility during the London session tomorrow morning. Markets quite often will sit there and wait for big news releases before dumping orders as well. So when you get consolidation days ahead of news, that's usually what it is, just building positions, waiting for the news so they can dump it. But I obviously don't know which way it will go, but we've got Bailey talking tomorrow afternoon as well. So it could be a big old day for the pounds tomorrow. So I'm going to stick the EA on the pound CAD. Oh, can't see what I'm doing here. What number do I need? 3, 4. So just going to get the EA to scale in on longs on this, on reversals. So if this pound CAD does push down, further today and put new lows in, I'll get on the next reversal alert. Ready to take some longs. Hopefully we won't need it. Hopefully these lows will hold. We are just kind of retesting at the minute. Obviously we've got that area there to worry about as well, but let's see if we get that push. Okay, NAS broken back down within the 15-minute range. S&P obviously still within the 15-minute range. 5 minutes left on the candle yet though. Anybody trade exotics in here, like the ZAR? With its massive 2,000 pip a day movement. Used to trade these a while ago, but too scary. Nice uptrend, though. What's happening with Bitcoin? How did we get on with that bounce? Yeah, a bounce held. So we looked at the Bitcoin, well, crypto in general, basically, last week, didn't we? And I drew your attention to this level here for a bounce, which is holding at the minute, but not very convincingly. So potentially this is putting in a reversal pattern at the moment as well. So it might be a nice little area for longing if you're Bitcoin holder. Ethereum was doing something very similar. And that one is also sitting on the 200 moving average as well. Potentially good spots to buy from for crypto. Okay, so next break out the 15-minute range, good potential buy area. This is a play I used to do quite a lot. Pull back into the 15-minute range, pending order above the 15-minute high up here somewhere. And then assume that we're going to get market structure. Sort of, well, you can't see it there, can you? Zoom in. So market structure, obviously, from these highs. So break above 15-minute and continue higher today. Obviously for the New York session. It's holding up quite nicely in that area though. Says the S&P. Still no breakout. S&P hasn't got outside of its opening range yet today at all. So possibly a rotation day today. Sideways, waiting for the big news announcements, big earnings announcements. Really expecting to see some decent movement off of the New York today, considering yesterday's movements. Obviously, complete sideways because of the bank holiday. But not getting a moment. Might be a slow burner. Might just be a nice, orderly, grinding day. So we'll see what happens. 2 minutes left on this candle. Then that 15 minutes up. I will call it a day after that, I think. With the NAS, I've got a buy limit down at this level, 125 ADR. I don't think we're going to get down there, but this is the double bottom from Monday last week. So I'm expecting that kind of movement. Just not really convincing at the minute, is it? So but yeah, I've got it pending down there basically in case we do come down and double bottom, and then obviously that will bring my average back down into this area. And S&P switch. We've got the double bottom, same as obviously on the NAS, but we got the double bottom there as well from the previous Monday, which potentially it could be trying to reach down for as well. So obviously everybody that's longed out of last week got the midweek reversal pullback. Liquidity's all under there, so that could be what they're trying to get to before pushing back up again. So I'm not going to put one on down there because I've got one here which I've just taken today in London, but that was where my next level was going to be for a reaction. So again, you can either, like I do with the S&P, you can either put on pendings or obviously just wait for the market to get to levels and then get in on the reversal alerts. Obviously these are safer entries because you're getting a confirmation of bullish price action before you get in on the reversal alert, and the retest obviously forms that W pattern, which is a reversal pattern. RSI low on the pound CAD. Again, just another alert. We are extended on pound CAD. We know we're extended on pound CAD. We've been extended on pound CAD for ages. Okay, so that candle's closed back above the high. So we did hold the 15-minute opening range. Again, big wicks across the board. Big wicks. So still loads of buying pressure coming in. It's just there's a hell of a lot of selling pressure as well. So we're just really stuck in a tussle today. It's going to be one of those really annoying up and down days by the looks of things. But watch for a break of the highs. If we do get these highs broken, we should be off. So obviously I'll be getting out my next position up there with around about just over 0.5%. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that one up to break even. If we're going to break out of this level today, after all this buying pressure coming in here, if the buyers do win out today, I don't think this level is going to hold from yesterday. Obviously, we pushed up and made new highs before the bank holiday. We've just come down and taken out that liquidity there. So if they're going to step in here, we're going to get above this level, which means this is the area, this big selling area up here is where we're going to be aiming for, which is roughly where my break even is at the moment. So I'm going to aim for that area. I don't think we're going to get up there today. We'd have to be a big old strong reversal day to go from red to green from that sort of level all the way up to green. But I think we're probably stalling out today, and we'll get a little push higher somewhere back up into here to close. But we'll see. Which candle are you basing the 15-minute opening range on? The New York Open. So New York Open's at 2:30 UK time. 4:30 on my chart because it's UTC plus 2 on my candlesticks. So this candle here is the 15-minute opening range of New York. Some people use a 30. So, if you look at the 30-minute opening range, it's the same. Today it's the same. So it's the 30-minute opening range as well. Some people use the hourly, but the hourly I find to be too slow a lot of the time. You want to be down on faster time frames. If you're going to trade intraday, hourly's a little bit too long to trade. 15 minutes I've just found is kind of the sweet spot. And when you get these opening range breakouts and retests, they tend to work really well. But sometimes you'll get opening ranges where it will just go boom, 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 and you're off, and the opening range breakout doesn't come into the equation at all. But when you get kind of rotational days and slow trend days like this, potentially this is setting up to be a nice slow trend day. That sort of movement. The opening range breakout works really well. But this is the trouble. You can never tell what day you're going to get until the day's started. By then it's too late to trade it. So you have to be proactive and assume something is going to happen and play that trade basically. So I'm assuming we are going to break out of that level by doing an opening range breakout. We're going to break there, then we're going to get stuck here because there's a load of selling pressure there as well. Don't forget, all this market is sellers and buyers. Whoever's got the biggest wallet wins. These zones indicate where they've come from. So when you get back to them, you're going to have a fight over who's got the biggest wallet again. And as long as one of them keeps winning and has got a bigger wallet, price goes up. When the bigger wallet comes in that way, price goes down. We don't know who's got the bigger wallet until we get there. And price action tells us who has got the biggest wallet. At the moment, they've both got the same size wallet. So we're not going anywhere. S&P is a prime example. Ugh, rotation. Look at the range on this. Got like 280 pip range. It's got 660 pip ADR at the moment. We're putting a third of the range. It's rubbish. Anyway, so I'm not going to sit here and watch paint dry. Obviously, my bias is long still at the moment. So if you do want to get into positions, obviously, just if you have your bias long, like I have, obviously getting on pullbacks. But we've definitely got some good buying pressure coming in today. It's just obviously at the minute they just haven't got the strength. But that divergence is still there and holding. Kind of slightly bullish divergence on the NAS, not very strong at all, but yeah, looking good for longs I think at the moment. But we'll see if it holds up. So yeah, as I say, be aware of tomorrow news. So 7 a.m. pound CPI. I'll be back on at 8:30 as normal tomorrow morning anyway. So we'll see how that has played out. positions I've got on are pound CAD, hasn't gone anywhere in New York. Aussie dollar CAD hasn't really gone anywhere in New York. We're still within the London range at the moment. And Euro Swiss, which has gone somewhere, down, which is good. How's that Euro New Zealand doing for Darmond? Oh, hello. There we go. So we're going to, it's playing out exactly as I said I would hoped it would. Obviously, I didn't say it was definitely going to do it, but this is what I was hoping we were going to see today, was this control candle hold again. So this was the break yesterday and that movement, and next move down to the lows again. Be aware of the 24 and the 72, obviously, as we get down to these levels. Potentially we could get a bounce, but yeah, looking good, that one at the moment. Still hitting a bit of obviously support resistance. Yeah, so this line, this black line here is strong support resistance. We've tapped into that, so could well get that continuation bounce to the downside, but we'll see. Looking good. Right, okay, so I'm going to call it a day there. I'll be back tomorrow at 8:30, same time. Oh, look at that horrible big wick. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 8:30. We'll see how the pound has got on with CPI, see what impact that's had on the market. Catch up with the indices, see where they ended up today. But I've got, I'm ready to position a little bit more long as we push down, if we push down. S&P, I'm just going to wait and see what happens with that one as we get a little bit further down. So I'll be looking at this kind of every hour just to see where we are. But yeah, not really going anywhere, are we, at the moment? Stuck basically where we started today so far. So we'll see how we get on. If you need anything, come into the Telegram group. I'm always in the Telegram group. You can ask questions in there and obviously discuss anything to do with the indicators, strategy and all that sort of thing. If you like the video and the stream, give us a thumbs up before you disappear. Otherwise, I'll be back tomorrow at 8:30. Hopefully you have a good afternoon and make some money on these indices if they actually bother to go anywhere. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow morning, 8:30, same time. So I will see you then.